I got these together. Each week, I'm going to try to feature someone from a different part of the industry, whether they're a public speaker or whether they're a marketer. I really want to touch and hit base on all aspects of the creating process, from the inception of creating to marketing and selling your product, whether you're doing a book tour or whether you're getting ready to do an album release. I think we can all feed off each other in a positive way and learn. So that's why I started these Zoom chat sessions. So before we get started, before I introduce Todd, I really, for the last couple of years, knew the importance of live video. Steve and I have talked about YouTube videos for a long time. Steve's got a great YouTube channel, but today I wanted to put some stats and kind of give you guys some numbers to look at and hear and to think about. And this is what I pulled off of Google Trends. So 80% of consumers would rather watch a live video than read a blog. Video streaming is expected to account for 82% of all internet traffic in 2020. That's huge. 82% of all traffic online will be video. That's monster. The video streaming market is expected to exceed 70 billion by 2021. Consumers are 39% more likely to share video content than regular content. 42% of the US population live streamed online content in 2018. Millennials are the largest consumers and creators of live video. Facebook Live is the most commonly listed platform for live video consumption. And last but not least, 60% of the 100 most popular YouTube live streams took place and happened in the past 2 years. That's a huge number. That's 60% of the most popular, 100 popular YouTube videos have just took place over the last 2 years. So really emphasizes on how video is affecting your music career, your video career, your photography, and how we can utilize it in our business. Today, my guest is Todd Pillars. Todd Pillars has spent 25 years in the tech industry. He worked alongside of Google and Yahoo, some very special people at both of those places. And in 2009, Todd picked up a camera when his daughter was born. And by 2019, Todd was doing professional headshots. Today, Todd's going to take some time to give us a little history and introduce us to some insight into live streaming. It's all you, Todd.
Thank you so much, John. I do appreciate it. And so what we're going to talk about is how to take your live stream from this to this. What we have right now is an opportunity, and it wasn't necessarily one that we wanted. As a headshot photographer, my job is done within 6 feet of my customer. With the way things have turned out with the shutdown, my business, I jokingly say I'm a temporarily retired photographer because I just can't work. So what do we do with the opportunity in front of us? We have equipment, we have talents, we have creativity. How do we deliver that to our customers with with the tools that we have available to us? Going forward, actually to step back, in September of last year, 100% of my marketing was to events and corporate clients. That was to C-suite for on the photography end, for headshots, and for event photography, obviously at events. Much like you all here, that all went away. So all the marketing from September until February is gone. Our talents and our equipment stays. And so again, how do we transform that from what it was before to delivering for our customers today? Interesting part that John he brought up about the video. We've probably all heard that video is the next the next thing. We've been hearing it for 2 or 3 or even 4 years that we should be doing video. We've been uploading video. We've been creating video in both YouTube and for Facebook. Every 48 hours, more content is produced for YouTube than in the previous 40 years. So if you think about the amount of video that is created, how do we stand out from our competition? So my mantra going forward this year, John and I talked earlier today, is good enough is no longer good enough. I see some pretty cool studios set up that you're doing currently. Ryan, I will say that your other camera that was working that was not working showed that you've got a great setup where you're at. Very, very nice. Matt, same for you. It's a nice workable space. How do we control the things that we can control and still deliver with the things that we can't control? So right now you're all looking at Zoom, and that's probably we're meeting via Zoom, we're delivering via Zoom, we're trying to make the best of Zoom, and it may not be the best platform for that delivery. We can have the best. We can have the best video. However, we can't control how that looks on other people's machines. The same part from a headshot perspective. I can, I have, a 5D Mark IV, L class lenses, color calibrated monitors. I can take a great headshot. When I send that over to somebody else, I'm at the mercy of their machine. We're all at the mercy of our customer's machine. We're at the mercy of the delivery. So what things can we control? The things that we can control are the lighting. The lighting is probably the biggest issue or the biggest feedback that I get from my customers delivering their content. Going forward, it's going to be better. It's going to be more important to be a better business person than it is going to be a creator. You've looked at an online or an auction, art auction, and you see art up there, and you're wondering, why does this art go for millions of dollars when I can do it better? The difference is that they are marketing better.
You go about setting up your own studio.
iPhone, there we go. So literally, you can see again this is the front entryway to my house. I've got probably one of the best things that I did for myself, for consistency, for control, was setting up this is a Visa stand for computer monitors, a simple boom arm that holds a microphone with a shock mount. The flat panel LED lights, again, going back to control, having great lighting. If you're going to make great videos, you have to have great lighting, and they'll forgive your lighting if you have great sound. So always remember that. As I mentioned earlier, this is a Canon 80D that's going into the MacBook with. This is just via USB. Normally, it would go in via US or HDMI, something like Camlink or a Blackmagic Studio Mini or something along those lines. But because of the quality that's being delivered right now, USB is perfectly fine. And then the rest of it is just the area or just the studio area that I'm working in. I've got the teleprompter there, some lighting, some extra things that are sitting there. So really, there's not much. A studio setup is it's not as hard as we make it out to be. Deaden the sound, dampen it in some way, get great lighting, get everything set up so it's consistent every single time, that you can just walk in, sit down, push a button. I have 2 switches, one for the lighting, one for the powered hub that I have now. Everything else is plugged in, and I missed that part in the beginning and talking about what we can control and consistently. Don't do anything wirelessly. If you're not plugged in, you can't get the consistency that you need. It has to be hardwired, whether it's a USB dongle, which I have for the MacBook, the stupid little Thunderbolt 2 and 3 and USB-C and all that neat stuff. Get an adapter, plug it in so that you have decent bandwidth. Just today, Frontier was here. I hate to say that I had Frontier installed. I'm not a huge fan of Spectrum by any stretch. I went to Frontier primarily and because of the upload speeds. If you don't have the upload speed, it doesn't matter if you're wired or not. If you don't have at least 12 megabytes of upload, you're not going to get a consistent. You're not going to get a consistent live stream to go up. With Frontier, I ran the speed test. I still don't believe it's 385 megabytes up. We'll see what the quality is when this recording comes down, and see what it is. But again, you've got to be able to control that bandwidth.
Gotcha, Steve. You got a question, buddy?
Number one, what kind of microphone are you using with that camera?
Yeah, so if normally I'll have the 5D Mark IV up there, and I've got a Rode Video Micro, or not a Video Micro, Video Mic Pro that I run directly into the input in the camera, and then I use either a Camlink or I've just got a new HD60S, I guess it is. It has 3.5 in. That being said, that's for live streaming is fine. For pumping a lot of data through is not so much.
Some feedback on the iRig with the audio.
Yeah, I want to just talk a little bit about that.
Help Steve's question out.
Yeah, Steve, what's going on, man? Nice to meet you, buddy. And thanks, Todd, for doing this, by the way.
Certainly.
I just wanted to say I experimented with this little iRig device. When you're streaming or if you're recording video, you just go from the out of your mixing board, monitor out or recorder out or whatever you want, right into your phone. And you can adjust the level, just with a little light. And then once it turns red, it's too high, and you just go underneath so that it's just barely not clipping, so the signal's really hot. And on my YouTube video or channel, I posted the quality of this, which is unbelievable. But what I'm finding is frustrating with this older generation iRig, Steve, is that I can't use it with any of the new school things like Zoom or the other app that John was showing us last time, because it's set up so that when it automatically detects when it's a video, it clicks on, which is really frustrating. So I can't use it like you're using, Todd, your USB mic. Whereas to answer your question, Steve, you don't want to use a mic for your recordings. You want to go out of a board directly into your phone.
Directly. Yes.
It sounds unreal.
Of tinkering, Ryan has been like experimenting hardcore with his live streams and his audio. And Ryan, I'll give you the board if you want to give Matt and Steve some insight on this.
Please.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a solo live looping artist. I've worked with like a lot of big producers and big studios and all sorts of crazy projects. And I was always the kid at the board while the other guys were in the back doing drugs. You know, I was paying attention, but I've been doing this solo live looping thing for like 7 years now. And basically I drag a full setup that I could wire a whole band live on the spot. That's how much wires and stuff goes into my rig. What I'm getting at is I think what you're talking about, Steve, like it sounds like you work with bands and stuff. Is that like?
No, I do solo.
Oh, you do solo. It's still,
but that's what we'll talk about.
Yeah. I mean, so it still applies. So what I did before the last 6 weeks, I did tinker in live streaming and broadcasting. I tinkered in it, you know. But what I did, I would show up to a show and have like full sound production. You know, I would spare no wire, no processor, everything. I would just go full effort. And when all this started, I just decided to kind of shift into live streaming and to kind of go full bore into that. And right away I was led to this software, which I'd been to before, called OBS, which is, it's an encoding video production software where you could produce a video feed, basically like what you would do in an audio mixer, how you mix different signals. You can mix video and audio and screen sources and any number of things. And all I could say is once I got into that, the first couple things I found out I had to get, which were really important, was I started trying to tinker with my iPhone camera to have that as a decent camera. It didn't take too long where I got frustrated with that. This is what I'm using right now, by the way. But then I decided to step it up and get a somewhat decent webcam. Well, I went to get a C920 and it didn't, I'm going to Walmart, another place. Everything was sold out everywhere. I had to buy one like third party from Amazon and it was triple the price. Yeah. It's remained basically triple the price ever since. The other thing I grabbed was a set of, which were going faster and faster, are lighting kits and green screens. So I got myself 3 green screens and 2 lighting kits, and there's still some of these out there. My biggest tip for that is you'd think Amazon would be the place to look. Where I've been scoring a lot of this video production gear is Walmart.com, because they work with lots of resellers. You can find a ton of stuff for a great price. Each of these lighting kits I got were $50. I don't know if they're plugged in right now, but like you can get something like this, like these soft boxes. It's like a big block, a big box that has a nice bright 5500K bulb in it. I don't know much about lighting, Todd, but I guess it's the closest to daylight you could get or whatever. Yep. But I got 2 of those with stands for $50 delivered from Walmart, and I think there's still some left. I went ahead and bought a third kit that's going to have 2 of those and an overhead for like a hair light. Right. I bought those just because I didn't know what my full production was going to be. So that stuff is still available. I don't know if how available it's still going to be.
Right. It's tough. And Walmart is a great resource, from flat panels to lighting to, because again, they somewhat compete with Amazon in some of their reseller things. It's not always, you don't buy directly from Walmart. It's
Right.
they're third parties. But no, you're exactly right. I mean, the Camlink 4K and this little guy, the HD 60S, it's $200. It was $99, 8 weeks ago. So this stuff goes through the roof.